Single tasking. This method is based on doing one thing at a time with full attention, something that used to be natural before constant digital interruptions became part of daily life. The mind was not designed to switch rapidly between tasks, even though modern routines often demand it. When a person focuses on a single activity, the brain builds a continuous line of thought instead of fragments. It feels slower at first, almost uncomfortable, but over time it becomes more efficient. What makes this different is not complexity, but the deliberate refusal to divide attention. It matters because depth of focus is not created by doing more, but by removing what competes for attention.
Timed focus blocks. This approach comes from the idea that attention works better within limits rather than open-ended effort. In the past, work and study were naturally divided by daylight or physical routines, but now time often feels blurred. By setting a defined period, such as 20 or 30 minutes, the mind understands there is a beginning and an end. This creates a sense of urgency without pressure. During that window, distractions are easier to resist because the commitment feels temporary. The difference here is structure, not intensity. It matters because focus grows when the brain trusts that effort will not be endless. Environmental control. Focus is not only internal, it is shaped by what surrounds a person. A quiet room, a clean desk, or even a certain type of lighting can influence how long attention is sustained. Historically, places like libraries or monasteries were designed to reduce distraction, long before the concept of productivity existed. Today, the same principle applies in a different form. Removing visual noise, limiting notifications, or choosing a specific place for focused work creates a signal to the brain. What makes this method different is that it changes the environment instead of forcing the mind. It matters because attention often follows what the eyes and ears are exposed to. Mental reset pauses. This method involves stepping away briefly before the mind becomes overloaded. Many people try to push through fatigue, believing that persistence alone will maintain focus. However, attention tends to decline gradually, not suddenly. Short pauses, even just a few minutes, allow the brain to reorganize and recover. This idea can be traced back to older work rhythms, where breaks were part of the process rather than interruptions. What makes this different is the timing, choosing to rest before exhaustion. It matters because sustained focus depends as much on recovery as it does on effort. Active recall. This technique is built on the act of retrieving information instead of passively reviewing it. Rather than reading something repeatedly, the person tries to remember it without looking. This forces the brain to rebuild the path to that knowledge, strengthening it each time. The concept became more widely studied when researchers noticed that memory improves through effortful recall rather than repetition. What makes this different is the direction of thinking, from inside out instead of outside in. It matters because focus increases when the mind is actively engaged rather than simply exposed to information. Attention training through observation. This method involves observing simple details in the environment, such as sounds, movements, or small changes that usually go unnoticed. It is similar to practices found in older traditions, where awareness was trained through stillness and observation. By focusing on something subtle, the mind learns to remain steady without needing constant stimulation. Over time, this builds a quieter and more controlled form of attention. What makes this different is its simplicity, using ordinary moments as training. It matters because focus is not only about effort, but about learning to stay present with what is already there. Cognitive load reduction. This method focuses on reducing the number of things the brain needs to hold at once. When too many tasks, decisions, or pieces of information compete for space, attention becomes scattered. Writing things down, organizing steps, or simplifying choices can ease this burden. Historically, tools like notebooks or lists served this purpose long before digital systems existed. What makes this different is that it does not try to increase focus directly, but removes what weakens it. It matters because the mind performs better when it is not overloaded, allowing attention to settle naturally on what truly needs to be done.